Midnight. I'm in the garage, fixing a coffee machine for the 1,000th time, when my wife walks in, tosses a suitcase on the floor and says, cold as a New England January, I'm going back to my ex. You were just my ATM. You knew it, right? I just nod. She leaves. An hour later, her own lawyer calls, voice trembling. The house, the accounts. My God, what did you tell her yesterday? Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, and tell me in the comments what city you're watching from. My name is David Chen. Wait, scratch that. David Miller. I'm 42, an IT consultant who clawed his way up from nothing in this faded mill town of Millbrook, Massachusetts. The kind of place where Stephen King would set a horror story, except the real horror here isn't supernatural, it's human nature. The rain lashes against my garage windows as I stare at the coffee machine's guts spilled across my workbench. Marta's words echo in my head. You knew it, right? The thing is, I did know. Deep down, I always knew. But knowing and accepting are two different beasts entirely. Used me for money? Hell, I wish she'd told me sooner. I could have switched to generic coffee years ago. Marta and I met 8 years ago at a networking event downtown. She was this sharp, ambitious advertising executive climbing the corporate ladder at Brennan and Associates. I was the guy who fixed their computers when they crashed. She was beautiful in that cold, calculated way, like a knife wrapped in silk. I should have seen the warning signs then, but I was too busy being flattered that someone like her would notice someone like me. The marriage started cracking about 2 years in. Late nights at the office became routine, secretive phone calls, the way she'd flinch when I touched her shoulder. Our kids, Ross and Amelia, now 21 and 19 respectively, started treating me like a stranger in my own house. I remember the exact moment I found the messages. 3 weeks ago, I was fixing her laptop when a notification popped up. Jake Morrison, her boss at the agency. The preview was enough. Can't wait to feel you again tonight. David's such a fool. David's such a fool. Yeah, Jake, you got that right. But here's the thing about fools. Sometimes we're smarter than we look. I'd been gathering evidence since then. Screenshots, recordings, financial records. Not for revenge, not yet, but for survival. In a divorce, the one with the best documentation wins. And I've always been good with documentation. The phone rings again. It's Victoria Hawthorne, Marta's best friend and enabler. Her voice drips with fake concern. David, honey, I heard about tonight. Are you okay? Never better, Vic. Just sitting here wondering how long you've known about Jake. Silence. Then, I don't know what you mean. Sure you don't. Tell me, was it your idea for them to drain the joint account first, or did they come up with that gem on their own? The line goes ended. I walk to the kit, and pour myself 3 fingers of bourbon. The house feels different now, lighter somehow, like a weight I didn't know I was carrying just lifted off my shoulders. Through the window, I can see Jake's silver BMW parked in the Marriott lot across town. Yes, I've been tracking them. Sue me. My phone buzzes. Unknown number. You don't know half of it. Stay out of this, or you'll lose more than your wife. I stare at the message and laugh. Actually laugh out loud in my empty kit midnight. Lose more than my wife? What's left to lose? My dignity? That died with the first David's such a fool message. My friends? Most of them chose sides the minute the gossip started spreading. My money? Already gone, apparently. No, mystery texter, I think you've got it backwards. I've already lost everything that mattered. Now I'm free to lose everything that doesn't. The next morning hits like a hangover, even though I only had the one bourbon. Sunlight streams through windows that need cleaning, highlighting dust motes that dance like tiny accusers. The coffee tastes like betrayal and regret. Ross calls around 9. My son, the pre-law student at Boston University, sounds tired. Dad, Mom told us what happened. She said you two are getting divorced. That's one way to put it. She also said, he pauses, and I can hear Marta coaching him in the background. She said you've been having problems for a while. Financial problems. Financial problems. Right. The woman who spent $3,000 last month on a handbag is lecturing about financial responsibility. Ross, has your mother ever told you how we met? At some work thing, right? I was fixing her computer. She spilled wine on it during a client presentation. I stayed until midnight getting her files recovered. She said I was her hero. I stare out at the gray October morning. Funny how heroes become villains when the story changes. After Ross hangs up, clearly uncomfortable with adult realities, I drive to Big Mike's auto repair on the south side of town. Mike Kowalski and I go back 20 years, to when we were both scraping by and dreaming of better days. He made it with honest work and calloused hands. I made it with late nights and computer screens. Different paths, same destination, until now. Mike's under the hood of a rusted Chevy when I walk in. He emerges, wiping grease on a rag that's seen better decades. Heard about Marta, he says without preamble. Town's talking. What are they saying? That she's been screwing her boss. That you're getting cleaned out in the divorce. That Victoria Hawthorne's been running her mouth about your boring bedroom habits at the country club. The humiliation hits like a physical blow. Victoria discussing my intimate life with the country club gossips. Jesus. Anything else? Jake Morrison's been bragging at Murphy's bar about upgrading your wife. Says he's going to buy your house when the divorce goes through. Buy my house. The house I renovated with my own hands. The house where I taught my kids to ride bikes in the driveway. The house where Marta and I once made love in every room during our first year of marriage, back when she still pretended to find me attractive. Mike, if you wanted to fight back against someone who had all the advantages, money, connections, social standing, how would you do it? Mike straightens up, studies my face. You talking hypothetically? Sure, hypothetically. Hypothetically? He grins, and it's not a nice expression. I'd make them bleed where it hurts most. Their pride. Rich people can handle losing money, they just make more. But humiliation? Public shame? That shit follows you forever. That afternoon, I drive to Brennan and Associates. The building is all glass and steel, designed to intimidate. I park across the street and wait. At 5:30, Marta emerges with Jake. He's younger than me, maybe 35, with the kind of artificial confidence that comes from inherited wealth and unearned privilege. They walk to his BMW, and he puts his hand on the small of her back. The same place I used to touch her. They drive to Romano's, the expensive Italian place downtown. I follow at a distance, park 3 spaces away. Through the restaurant window, I watch them hold hands across the table. Marta throws her head back, laughing at something Jake says. She never laughed like that with me, not in years. I wait until they come out, slightly drunk on wine and arrogance. Jake fumbles with his keys, and I make my move. Evening, Jake. Marta. They freeze. Marta recovers first. David, what are you doing here? Just grabbing dinner. Funny running into you two. I look directly at Jake. We haven't been properly introduced. I'm David Miller, the husband. Jake straightens up, trying to look intimidating in his $1,000 suit. Look, this is awkward, but awkward? I step closer. My wife's sleeping with her boss, and you think it's awkward. That's like calling the Titanic a minor shipping delay. David, please, Marta starts. Please what? Please don't embarrass you in public? Please don't make a scene? You should have thought of that before you started discussing our bedroom problems with Victoria at the country club. Jake's face hardens. You need to back off, Miller. This doesn't concern you anymore. Doesn't concern me? I laugh, and it sounds slightly unhinged even to my own ears. You're planning to buy my house, Jake. You're sleeping in my bed. You're playing daddy to my kids. How exactly does this not concern me? A small crowd has gathered. Millbrook's a small town, and public confrontations are better than cable TV. I recognize faces, neighbors, former friends, people I've known for years, all watching David Miller's public humiliation. Jake leans in close, his voice low but venomous. Your wife came to me, Miller. She was desperate to feel like a woman again instead of a nursemaid to a boring, middle-aged loser. I'm doing you a favor, taking her off your hands. The rage that floods through me is pure and clean and dangerous, but instead of swinging, I smile. Jake, you've got something on your car. He turns to look. I accidentally bump into him, and he stumbles into his BMW's side mirror. Hard. The mirror cracks, and Jake yelps in pain and surprise. Oh, sorry about that. These parking lots are so cramped. I pat his shoulder with mock concern. You should be more careful. I walk away, leaving them standing there. Behind me, I hear Jake cursing and Marta trying to calm him down. The crowd disperses, already pulling out phones to spread the news. By the time I get home, my phone is buzzing with messages. Most are from numbers I don't recognize. Word travels fast in a small town. The last message makes me pause. Final warning. Drop this or you'll regret it. I text back, regret is a luxury I can't afford anymore. 3 days later, the divorce papers arrive. Marta's lawyer, some shark from Boston, has filed for immediate separation of assets. She wants the house, half my business, alimony, and child support. The kicker? She's claiming I was emotionally abusive and financially controlling. Emotionally abusive? The woman who hasn't said I love you in 2 years is claiming I was emotionally abusive. I call my own lawyer, Patricia Wong, a sharp woman I've known since she handled my business incorporation. Pat, they're going for the throat. David, I have to ask, is any of this true? The financial control, the emotional abuse? I managed our finances because Marta said she hated dealing with money. I tried to save our marriage because I actually gave a damn about our vows. If that's abuse, then guilty as charged. Good. Because I've been doing some digging on your wife's boyfriend. Jake Morrison has quite the history. What kind of history? Intimate harassment complaints at his last 2 jobs, settled out of court both times. And his current wife? She's filed for divorce twice, then withdrawn the papers. Both times coincided with mysterious deposits into her personal account. He's buying his wife's silence? That's my guess. Rich men with wandering dicks tend to follow patterns. That evening, I'm at Murphy's bar. Not my usual scene, but desperate times call for desperate measures. The place is exactly what you'd expect from a dive bar in a dying mill town. Sticky floors, neon beer signs, and the kind of clientele that peaks at happy hour and goes downhill from there. Jake's holding court at a corner table with 3 other suits from various businesses around town. I can hear him from across the room, his voice carrying over the jukebox. Upgrade in every department, if you know what I mean. Laughter from his audience. Poor bastard probably thinks she actually enjoyed their anniversary dinners at Applebee's. More laughter. My face burns, but I stay put. The best part? She's been faking it for years. Years. Can you imagine being that clueless? One of his companions notices me. Jake. Jake turns, sees me, and his face goes through several expressions before settling on smug defiance. Well, well. If it isn't the cuckold himself. The bar goes quiet. Every conversation stops. Even the bartender freezes mid-pour. I walk over to their table slowly, deliberately. Jake, I couldn't help but overhear. You were discussing my wife's performance reviews? Former wife, he corrects. And yeah, we were just talking about how much happier she is now that she's with a real man. A real man. I nod thoughtfully. Is that what you call someone who pays hush money to intimate harassment victims? The color drains from Jake's face. His companions suddenly find their drinks fascinating. I don't know what you're talking about, he says. but his voice lacks conviction. Sarah Reet Morrison Industries, Jessica Torres at Brennan's Boston office. Both filed complaints. Both suddenly dropped them after receiving 5-figure settlements. Both signed NDAs that your daddy's lawyers made sure were airtight. I lean closer. Except NDAs don't cover public records, Jake. And divorce filings are very public. Jake stands up fast, his chair scraping against the floor. You're bluffing. Am I? Ask your wife about the deposits in her personal account. The ones that coincidentally happened right after she filed for divorce. Twice. Jake's hands are shaking now. You son of a bitch! Careful, Jake. We're in public. Wouldn't want to make a scene. I smile. Besides, I'm just getting started. I walk out of Murphy's to silence. By tomorrow, every person in that bar will have told the story to 5 other people. By the end of the week, Jake Morrison's reputation will be in tatters. My phone rings as I'm driving home. Victoria Hawthorne. You bastard! She hisses without preamble. What I did tonight was tell the truth. Novel concept, I know. Jake is threatening to sue you for slander. Let him try. Truth is an absolute defense against slander charges. He'd have to prove I lied, which means discovery, which means depositions, which means all his dirty laundry becomes public record. I turn into my driveway. Tell me, Vic, how long have you been helping them plan this little affair? Silence. Come on, Vic. We both know you've been more than just a supportive friend. You've been the facilitator, the alibi. The one who convinced Marta she deserved better. She does deserve better than you. Maybe. But she doesn't deserve Jake, and you know it. He's going to cheat on her just like he cheated on his wife. Just like he cheated with those employees. And when he does, where will you be? Still cleaning up his messes? Go to hell, David. Already there, Vic. The question is, are you ready to join me? She hangs up. I sit in my car for a moment, engine ticking as it cools. The house looks different now, not like home, but like a battlefield, and I'm just getting warmed up. The confrontation comes sooner than expected. 2 weeks after the Murphy's bar incident, I get a call from Amelia. My daughter's voice is tight with stress. Dad, you need to come to Mom's apartment. Now. What's wrong? Just come. Please. Marta's been staying at Victoria's lake house while the divorce proceedings drag on. It's a sprawling modern monstrosity on Lake Millbrook, all glass and angles designed to impress rather than comfort. I pull up to find Jake's BMW, Victoria's Mercedes, and my daughter's Honda in the circular driveway. Amelia meets me at the door. She looks like she's been crying. Dad, they're all in the living room. They want to talk to you. About what? About stopping. I follow her inside. The living room is a study in uncomfortable tension. Marta sits on the white leather couch, looking smaller than I remember. Victoria perches on the arm of a chair like a bird of prey. Jake stands by the floor-to-ceiling windows, hands clasped behind his back like he's posing for a corporate portrait. David, Marta begins, we need to talk. I'm listening. Jake turns from the window. This has gone far enough. Your little publicity campaign is hurting innocent people. Innocent people? I look around the room. I'm sorry. I must be in the wrong place. I was looking for the innocent people. Victoria stands up. You've destroyed Jake's marriage. His wife filed for divorce yesterday. Gee, I wonder why. Maybe it's because she finally found out about his extracurricular activities. You had no right, Jake starts. I had every right. The words explode out of me. You want to talk about rights? You slept with my wife in my bed. You planned to buy my house. You discussed my personal life in public like it was entertainment. You made my children choose sides in a war they didn't start. So don't lecture me about rights. Marta flinches. David, please? Please what, Marta? Please forgive you? Please make this easy? Please pretend that 8 years of marriage meant nothing. I walked to the center of the room. You used me. You said so yourself. You used me for money, for stability, for social standing. And when you got bored, you traded up. It wasn't like that. It was exactly like that. I pull out my phone. Want to hear your own words? I've got recordings, Marta. Hours of them. You and Victoria planning this whole thing. You and Jake laughing about the boring husband you were going to dump. You want to know what innocence sounds like? I play a recording from 3 months ago. Marta's voice fills the room. David's so pathetic. He actually thinks those flowers and anniversary dinners mean something. I haven't loved him in years. The silence that follows is deafening. Amelia gasps. Even Victoria looks uncomfortable. Turn it off, Marta whispers. Why? This is your truth, isn't it? The real Marta, not the victim you're playing in divorce court. Jake steps forward. That's enough. You're upsetting everyone. I'm upsetting everyone? I laugh, and it sounds slightly unhinged. Jake, you seduced a married woman, destroyed 2 families, and cost 3 people their jobs when your harassment history went public. But I'm the problem? Those allegations were false. Were they? Because your former secretary Sarah recalled me yesterday. Seems she's willing to go on record now that your NDA is void due to your divorce. Wants to tell her story to the local news. Jake's face goes white. You can't... I can't what? Tell the truth? Expose a predator? Protect other women from your particular brand of charm? Victoria jumps up. This is insane. David, what do you want? Money? I don't want your money, Vic. I want justice. And I want everyone in this room to understand something very clearly. I look at each of them in turn. You thought you were playing chess with a pawn. But pawns can become queens if they reach the other side of the board. Marta stands up, tears streaming down her face. I'm sorry. Okay? I'm sorry for everything. For hurting you, for using you, for... Sorry doesn't fix this, Marta. Sorry doesn't give me back 8 years of my life. Sorry doesn't undo the humiliation, the gossip, the way our children look at me now. Then what do you want? I smile, and it's not a nice expression. I want you to understand what consequences feel like. All of you. Jake moves toward me, his face flushed with anger. You threatening us? I don't make threats, Jake. I make promises. And here's mine. By the time I'm done, everyone in this town will know exactly who you are, all of you. The room erupts. Jake lunges toward me, but I sidestep easily. Victoria screams at everyone to calm down. Marta sobs into her hands. Amelia runs from the room. In the chaos, I walk to Jake's designer jacket hanging on a chair. I pull out his wallet, remove his credit cards, and drop them in Victoria's expensive vase filled with lake water. Oops, I say mildly. Accident. Jake stares at his ruined cards floating in the vase. You're insane. No, Jake, I'm free. There's a difference. I walk out, leaving them to their recriminations and panic. Outside, Amelia waits by my car. Dad, are you okay? I look at my daughter. Really look at her. She has my eyes, but her mother's cheekbones. She's caught between 2 worlds, 2 versions of truth, 2 parents who've forgotten that she matters more than their war. I'm trying to be, sweetheart. I'm really trying to be. The town's annual Harvest Festival arrives like a gift from the gods of irony. Every October, Millbrook transforms Main Street into a Norman Rockwell painting. Pumpkins, hay bales, local vendors hawking everything from apple cider to handmade jewelry. It's wholesome Americana at its finest, and this year it's going to be my stage. I've spent the last month preparing, not just gathering evidence, though I have plenty of that, but positioning myself. See, the thing about small towns is that they love their gossip, but they love their justice more. And I'm about to give them both in spades. The festival runs from noon to 8. I arrive early, helping set up booths and chatting with neighbors like nothing's changed. Like I'm not the cuckolded husband everyone's been whispering about. Like I'm not planning to detonate a social nuclear bomb in approximately 6 hours. Marta arrives at 2 with Victoria and Jake. They've clearly decided to brazen it out, show up together, act like they belong, dare anyone to challenge them. It's a bold strategy, also a stupid one. Jake's wearing a casual blazer that probably cost more than most people's monthly rent. Marta's in a sundress that makes her look younger, happier. Victoria floats between them like a social butterfly, working damage control with anyone who'll listen. I watch from the dunking booth where I've volunteered to be the target. It's perfect symbolism, the wronged husband letting people take shots at him for charity. The line stretches 20 deep, and I'm soaked within minutes. But I'm also exactly where I need to be, the center of attention. At 4 o'clock, Mayor Henderson takes the small stage set up near the gazebo. He thanks the volunteers, promotes next month's Veterans Dinner, and then hands the microphone to various community leaders for announcements. I've been waiting for this moment. "Excuse me, Mayor Henderson?" I call out from the dunking booth. "Could I say a few words?" The crowd turns. Henderson looks confused but nods. "Of course, David. Come on up." I climb out of the tank, water dripping from my clothes, and walk to the stage. The crowd follows, maybe 200 people, including half the town council, the police chief, and 3 local reporters. Perfect. I take the microphone and look out at the sea of faces, neighbors, friends, enemies, strangers. People who've known me for 20 years and people who only know me as gossip fodder. Thank you all for coming out today. I know most of you have heard about my personal situation. My wife left me for her boss. It's been the talk of the town. Uncomfortable murmurs ripple through the crowd. I can see Marta near the back, her face pale. Jake looks like he wants to run. But I'm not here to air my dirty laundry. I'm here to talk about truth, about consequences, about what happens when good people stay silent while predators operate in plain sight. The murmurs stop. Now I have their complete attention. Jake Morrison has been intimate, harassing women for years. I have documentation, complaints, settlements, NDAs designed to protect him while silencing his victims. He's a predator who uses his wealth and position to escape consequences. Jake pushes through the crowd toward the stage. "This is slander. You can't. I can, and I am." I pull out a folder thick with papers. Sarah Chen, Jessica Torres, Linda Vance, Michelle Roberts. 4 women, 4 settlements, 4 NDAs that his daddy's money bought to keep them quiet. I hand the folder to Chief Morrison. No relation to Jake, despite the name. "Chief, this is all public record now. Jake's wife's divorce filing included financial disclosures that voided the NDAs. These women are ready to talk." The crowd erupts. Voices rise in anger, confusion, demand for explanation. Jake reaches the stage, his face purple with rage. "You son of a bitch! Language, Jake. There are children present." I smile at him. "The same children you'll be around if you marry my wife. The same children whose mother you seduced while she was married to someone else." Marta pushes through the crowd now, tears streaming down her face. "David, stop this." "Stop what, Marta?" "Telling the truth. Protecting other women from your boyfriend's predatory behavior." I turn back to the crowd. My wife didn't just cheat on me. She participated in a conspiracy to defraud me of my assets while carrying on an affair with her boss. Victoria Hawthorne helped plan it, provided alibis, and spread lies about me to justify their actions. Victoria appears at the edge of the stage, her perfect composure finally cracking. "You're destroying innocent people." "Innocent?" I laugh. "Victoria, you embezzled $12,000 from the charity auction last year. I have the bank records. You used the money to pay for the lake house weekend where you planned my wife's affair." The gasps from the crowd are audible now. People are pulling out phones, recording everything. The reporters are scribbling frantically. Chief Morrison takes the microphone. Folks, let's all calm down. No, I take it back. We've been calm long enough. We've been polite long enough. We've let people like Jake Morrison operate with impunity because they're rich, because they're connected, because confronting them is uncomfortable. I look directly at Jake, who's standing frozen at the base of the stage. You thought you could take my wife, my house, my life, and face no consequences. You thought wrong. This is harassment, Jake shouts. I'll sue you for everything you have. What I have? I spread my arms wide. Jake, you already took everything I had. My marriage, my reputation, my peace of mind. But you know what you can't take? My voice, my truth. My right to make sure everyone knows exactly who you are. The crowd is completely silent now, hanging on every word. So go ahead. Sue me. Take me to court. Let's have depositions and discovery and sworn testimony. Let's put every detail of your behavior under legal scrutiny. Let's see how that works out for you. Jake's shoulders sag. He knows he's beaten. A lawsuit would only expose more of his crimes, and he can't afford that level of scrutiny. Marta climbs onto the stage, her face streaked with tears and mascara. Please, David, I'm begging you, don't do this to us. Us? I stare at her. There is no us, Marta. You made that clear the night you told me you'd been using me for money. But you want to know the funny thing? She nods, desperate for any sign of mercy. I never had any money. The house is mortgaged to the hilt. The business is barely breaking even. The joint accounts you tried to drain? I emptied them weeks ago and put everything in a trust for Ross and Amelia's education. Her face goes white. What? You used me for money I didn't have. You left me for a man who's about to lose everything in his divorce. You destroyed our family for a fantasy that was never real. The crowd is silent. Even the children have stopped playing. But here's what is real, I continue. Jake Morrison is an intimate predator who will face justice. Victoria Hawthorne is an embezzler who will face prosecution. And you, Marta, are a woman who threw away 8 years of marriage for a man who's going to abandon you the moment this gets too complicated. I hand the microphone back to Mayor Henderson and walk off the stage. The crowd parts before me like the Red Sea. Behind me, I can hear Marta sobbing, Victoria shouting denials, and Jake trying to explain himself to Chief Morrison. At my car, I find Ross and Amelia waiting. They both look shell-shocked. Dad, Ross begins, is all of that true? Every word. Mom really said those things? About using you? She did. Amelia hugs me tight. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry we didn't believe you. You don't have to choose sides, I tell them both. She's still your mother. But now you know the truth, and you can make your own decisions about what that means. As I drive away from the festival, I can see the crowd still gathered around the stage in my rearview mirror. By tomorrow, the story will be in the regional papers. By next week, it'll be online. Jake Morrison's career is over. Victoria Hawthorne will face embezzlement charges, and Marta will have to live with the consequences of her choices. I pull into my driveway and sit for a moment in the gathering dusk. The house looks the same, but everything has changed. I'm not the man I was 3 months ago, not the naive husband who thought love could overcome anything. I'm harder now, colder, but also clearer about who I am and what I'm worth. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. You won. I type back. No. I survived, and for the first time in months, that feels like enough. Justice isn't always pretty. Sometimes it's messy and public and brutal. Sometimes it requires you to become someone you never thought you could be. But sometimes it's the only thing standing between predators and their next victims. I walk into my empty house, pour myself a bourbon, and toast the silence. Tomorrow, I'll start rebuilding. Tonight, I'll savor the victory.